Matt Damon
Good Will Hunting.
Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Oh, Ben Affleck's been growing a lot of beard lately.
Yeah. So listen, there's an interesting story that Joshua wants to present, but apparently, the way Good Will Hunting was made has a interesting origin story.
A little bit.
How it came to be, and we're gonna kind of talk about it, touch on it, give our thoughts on it for a little while here.
This is a really good picture of Robin Williams and Josh. Or Joe. That's Joe and that's Josh.
Oh, yeah, heck yeah, it's us.
That's you two. And if anybody tells me that young Matt Damon doesn't look like Josh, you're wrong.
No, it's young Willem Dafoe.
That looks like Joshua.
That the first one I think looks like Josh a lot.
That looks a lot like Joshua. Maybe that's why you like him. You like this film so much, you're like, it's me.
No,
I learned a lesson. I'm just dogging. All right, tell us a story about who start from the beginning, Joshua.
So, Matt Damon, and he wasn't getting a lot of roles in Hollywood, the traditional Hollywood. So, he was like, I got to fix this. I'm going to write my own script. I'm going to write my own film, and I'm going to remedy it. I'm going to make my own thing. Kind of like we're doing here a little bit.
A little bit.
And so he starts writing this thing for a school project, and he brings Ben Affleck, and they write the script Good Will Hunting. It was a little bit different from what we see now.
Yeah, see in the film, the final product.
Yeah, but there's like their iteration of it, and
they were both going to the same school together, correct?
I don't know if that's true. I don't know.
Once you're done with the story, I'll look it up because I'm curious.
They were definitely friends.
They were friends.
Yeah.
Friends. Friends with dreams.
Yeah. And they weren't big names yet.
No.
They were in a few things, but not like a lot.
Right.
Ben was in Dazed and Confused before this, and Matt was in whatever he was in as a kid.
Yeah.
But he wasn't getting any roles at this point. And so they start writing this script, and they said, we're not big names, but we're going to sell it to a company, and then we're going to add somebody else that's a big name to it to kind of help the production.
Draw in the eyeballs.
There was a few names that were floating around to play Robin Williams' character, but ultimately they came down to Robin Williams' character.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of talk about this because of us talking 2 weeks ago. We talked about, is this an indie film or not? Is this an indie film? I mean, I guess like students or one student and then a no name really at that point. He was in one thing, but
yeah. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna say right. I think
ignorance. by our standard, by our definition of last week.
Was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
The 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. By our definition, I don't think this is an indie film because it was funded by probably a larger studio.
So there's, I think, 3 companies that did it. Their company, and then I think, what's the M company?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna find
Miramax or something like that.
Miramax. That's Miramax is the freaking who's the guy who got put in prison recently for his sexual deviancies? Miramax. Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this wouldn't, by our definition, be considered a indie film, but the way it started is the same way an indie film would start.
Would traditionally film.
Right. But I think they wanted to go this route.
If they got Miramax. Even just Miramax at the time, like that in itself means you're not an indie film.
They needed to not be an indie film. That was I think the point of this movie. It needed to not be. No. It's going to have a lower budget, but they wanted a movie that would perform well with the backing of a larger studio because the whole point of it was to get their names, was to show their talent. So they wrote a film where both of them can do stellar performances and show people we have chops. We can do this and we can tell a good story.
But you want to know what probably really launched them into success is
the 10
is not just now this right here. This would be problematic.
Yeah.
But businesses know that we spend $10 million on something. That opening weekend is not always going to pay us back on a blockbuster. What got them probably feeling pretty good was this number right here.
Well, worldwide, 200.
Worldwide, yes. But
I mean, this is like exponential growth. You start with a budget of $10 million.
And you grow it to 225.
If you're making
million.
$50 million, you've made your money back and then some. But making $138 million, that's money to throw around.
That's
money
probably
to swing.
And like between the talent on screen and the back and forth with a big name like Robin Williams, but also just the small investment, high reward. Financially, that really pumped probably Matt Damon and Ben Affleck where they are today.
Ben Affleck.
It's a good,
but it's not an indie film.
It's a good plan though.
Yeah.
It really is. For them to be like, well, we're not getting anything. What do? We write this script. We cast a name who's big right now and somebody who people recognize. Robin Williams is, top notch for that.
Yeah.
And then we show everybody that we can act across from a name like that.
There was companies that were willing. There was at least one company that was willing to buy this script from them once they wrote it, but they
not willing to cast them.
Yes, not willing to cast them. They were going to put. I think if you go to like Wikipedia, they said they wanted to put Brad Pitt and someone else as the role. And
Brad Pitt was all the rage back then.
Why would you want to put Brad Pitt in this?
No.
Brad Pitt next to Robin Williams? Nah.
And I think Robin Williams' part, I think the way they wrote it, Robin Williams' part could have been played by a number of big names. Robin Williams did it well.
He did it very well.
But I think you could have cast Anthony Hopkins, and he would have played the same role in a different way. But it would have conveyed the same emotion.
Edward Norton as Matt Damon's character would be a good film.
Oh, I'm just talking about swapping out the big name that they wanted to act across from. I think Anthony Hopkins could have worked.
Most big names at the time could done this job, but it's really hard to see a role in someone else's shoes unless they did a poor job, which he did the opposite. He did a wonderful job.
Everybody in this movie did an amazing job. It's beautiful acting. It's a simple concept.
It's got so much heart. It's overflowing with heart, and I think that's what people resonate with the most. People remember how a film make them felt.
But the producer was talking in a video about how he knew Matt Damon and he knew Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
And so I think what really helped them
Chris Moore.
Yeah, Chris Moore. What helped them get this off the ground was having somebody who knew them and was willing to believe in them.
Yeah.
Now Chris didn't have. This was his first big thing that really popped off.
What he said is he believed in him and he was going to ride with him. He was a ride or die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I think if it had been a different producer who didn't know them, it would have been a different story.
Probably.
Would it have still been successful? Possibly. But I think...
I don't know. Because where Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are, they have to deal with the idea before the success. The idea of... We think we're talented. We think we wrote a good script. We have some people offering us money. Should we just take the money and try something else?
Yeah.
Like go a different direction?
Yeah.
Like that's a super... What would we do?
Right.
You know, we wrote a script. We're like, we think that we probably could act in like these two top roles and then maybe like Joe can direct it or something. That's a big ask. But it's the same. It's comparable to this.
Yeah.
And then saying at the time, we're also going to get... I don't know, Nicolas Cage in our film. You know what I mean? That's a big ask, and that's what they were doing. So if we would say, I don't know, maybe we do just sell the script and get some money on the podcast to get a producer or something. You know, that's exactly what they had to contend with.
But I think the reason it worked is because they knew the producer.
They knew the producer and the dynamic between Ben Affleck and Matt Damon were good as the friends.
I think it all fell into place perfectly.
Yeah.
They're good actors. Their dynamic is really solid. Robin Williams is on board. The producer knows them, understands them, recognizes their talent. It all worked together seamlessly, you know, for it to be a box office hit.
Absolutely. I think I don't know how many films in Hollywood. I'm sure quite a few have a cool origin story like this. But in some ways, this is unique because they are like they tickled the industry with their toe tips, but they haven't reached out and got their feet wet, honestly. You know what I mean? So this is a cool origin story in my mind. I want to find more stories like this.
But I mean,
I feel like this is cool
and then they
highlight.
both went on to do some pretty massive stuff.
Yeah. I mean, then like all the Bourne stuff Matt Damon was doing, all of the
That really
stuff
put him on the map.
Ben Affleck did after this.
Okay, let's think about this. Who's a bigger actor?
I
Ben
think-
Affleck or Matt Damon?
I think Damon is.
Yeah.
But
Well, he would be huge if he took Avatar.
yeah, he would.
He got offered Avatar, 10% of Avatar.
But Ben Affleck.
But he needed that for the other
Ben
guy.
Affleck has been in some of my
You
favorite
need
movies.
that for what?
Wait, hold on. I'm still on Avatar. I'm sorry. I was just going to say, who's the guy who plays Jake Sully? I can't
Sam
remember.
Worthington?
Sam
Yeah.
Worthington. I can't remember his freaking name.
Sam
Worthington needed Avatar. All right.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot.
I'm happy
going
for
him.
Sam.
No,
I'm happy
Sam
for
did
Sam.
it.
all
Sam
right?
did the great part, but I think and Matt Damon would have done.
No, Matt Damon has all he wants.
Okay,
I think Matt Damon would have done the part well, though.
he would have done
would've.
it well, but different.
Different.
He would have. Okay, so what were you saying?
I think Ben Affleck has been in a lot of movies I can appreciate and
Yeah.
enjoy.
Let's
I
give a
love
few.
The Accountant.
The Accountant's
The
really
Accountant
freaking
The
good.
Accountant is
So
such a good
solid.
movie.
But The Accountant's a lower budget film.
and it's slower,
Yep.
but that makes it better. I mean, think The Bourne Identity slower. You know, think a slower Bourne Identity movie because he's a professional
Well, accountant
accountant and
slash
Badass.
accountant slash hitman, and it's a great movie.
He was in Gone Girl, which was super popular.
Yeah.
Now, Gone
That was
Girl
big-
is
that was a big
a
movie.
specific taste in my mind. It's not for everybody. And then you obviously he played Batman for a minute
Yeah.
that people didn't really care for.
A lot of people really like his Batman.
That's
such a
true. I mean,
somber
somebody-
Batman.
I thoroughly enjoy his Batman. I don't enjoy the design of the outfit. I think the design is a little bit it's not Batman-y enough.
Okay.
His bat is real chunky. His
Yeah.
suit is real chunky. His ears are real short in the suit. I like the long ear Batman. You know,
The Michael Keaton.
with a slim, felt little bat across his chest. I don't like big chonk bat who just got out of In-N-Out Burger. You know,
or
Chunk
that
Bat.
Golden Corral.
Matt Damon, he is a bigger dude. Like, he is stocky. So
He is.
he plays well with chonk Batman as opposed to slim Batman that someone like Michael Keaton or someone like freaking Christian Bale's going
Christian
to
Bale,
fill out.
Robbie Pat. Yeah.
What are you laughing at?
I'm just thinking of an old reel we did. Him as Batman and then Pete Davidson as Robin. Hi, I'm Robin.